Welcome back to another project. In this project, we are going to create a heart trail animation. As you can see from the final version of the project, when we move our mouse inside the browser, we are creating some hearts inside the browser with different colors and also different sizes. In this project, we are going to use the keyframe queries to create an animation that has some hue effect and also some changing inside the opacity and sizes of the heart. And also we are going to use JavaScript to detect the position of the mouse inside the browser, the X and the Y position. And we are going to use this position to set the heart in exact position of the mouse. So in the next section, we are going to start with the HTML part of this project. So see you in the next section. All right, welcome back. Let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code. Here we close the Get Started tab, and in the File menu, we click on the Open folder. I would like to create the project in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So here we click on the desktop, and we click on the New Folder button to create a new folder. We name the folder Heart Trail Animation, which is the name of our project. Trail Animation. We press enter and we click here on the select folder to select the folder. We close the Get Started tab again, and here on the left, we right click and we click on the new file. We name the file index.html and we press enter. Now we have our index.html file here on the right side, but it is completely empty. We can use an exclamation mark to create an HTML5 boilerplate. So we write an exclamation mark, and here we click on the first auto suggestion. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the codes clearly. Now we have the HTML5 boilerplate, which has the doc type, which tells the browser which version of HTML the page is written in. And in our case, as we are using HTML5, we just need to have HTML here. Then we have an HTML tag, which covers the head tag and the body tags. The lang attribute inside the HTML opening tag sets the language of the page. And in our case, we set the language to be English by just writing EN here. Then we have the head tag. The head tag has metadata tags and also the title tag. The charset attribute inside the first meta tag defines the HTML character encoding. And UTF-8 is recommended by HTML5 for web developers because it nearly contains all the characters and symbols. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is Edge. Then we have viewport meta tag, which tells the browser on how to resize the page. Inside the viewport meta tag, we have the content attribute, which tells the browser sets the width of the page to device's screen. For example, the mobile screen will be smaller than a computer screen. Then we have the initial zoom level of the browser, which is set to be 100% as a default. Then we have the title tag, which sets the title of the page. We can open the browser inside the Visual Studio Code using the Live Preview extension. We just need to right click here and we click on the Live Preview, Show Preview. Now we can see the browser on the right side, which is completely empty, but with the title document. Let's close the Explorer section by dragging this line to the left so we have more space on the right side. And let's change the title to the name of our project, which is Heart Trail Animation. Now we can see the Heart Trail Animation on the tab. And then inside the body tag, we just have a span that we're going to add a background the background image to this span using CSS. That was it for the HTML part of our project. In the next section, we're going to use CSS to style and add the heart image to the background of this span, and we're going to style it using CSS. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. In this section, we're going to start styling our project using CSS. First, we need to create a CSS file. Here, we can use Ctrl-Shift-E to open the Explorer section. And in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on the new file. We name the file style.css and we press enter. Now we have our style.css file here, which is empty, but we can't use it yet because we must add a link to this CSS file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html file, and just after the title tag, we add a link tag. We just write link and we click on the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now we have a link tag with the relationship between the HTML file and the external style sheet, which is style.css. The href attribute defines the destination of the link, and as both files, the index.html and style.css are located at the same directory, we just need to have style.css for the URL. Now we can use CSS in our project. So we just save the file using Ctrl-S, and we close this Explorer section to have more space on the right side. And the only things we need to do is to add some background image to this span tag and style it. So we go to style.css, and first we start from the body section and remove the default margin of our project. So we just remove the margin so we can style the components inside the body section easily, and we set the height of the body to be 100% of the viewport height, which means 100% of the screen size. Then we change the background color to be black. So we have now a completely black website with nothing inside, but we're going to add some background image to this span tag inside the body section to have an image. So inside the span, we add a background. We use the background property to add an background image. So for the image or the icon, we want to use the heart icon. For having icon in our browser, we can use a website called Icon Finder. So we go to the desktop and we click on the Google Chrome, and here in the search bar, we search Icon Finder. And in the search result, we can see a website with the URL iconfinder.com. We click on this website and we close this. And here inside the tab section, we search for heart. And in the search result, we have too many hearts, different shapes, but some of them are free and some of them are paid. We can inside this tab, we can choose the free one, so we can get all the free icons. The icon I would like to choose is this one. We just need to click on it, and here on the picture, we right click and we click on the copy image address. And we go back to the Visual Studio Code, and here we add a URL function, and inside a double quote, instead of double quote, we paste the link. We can't see the image yet because the span tag doesn't have any width or height. So we change the width to 100 pixels and height to be 100 pixels as well. Then we position it to the middle so we can see the icon. So we position it absolute first so we can see it here a little bit. And in order to put this image inside exactly that place with the width and height of 100 pixels, we can use background size cover to increase the size of the image as large as possible to fill the container, and we can see it now properly. All right, let's bring this heart to the center just for our styling. And so we just say left 50% and top 50%. This one actually brings the edge of the icon to the center from the top and the left. In order to bring exactly the middle to the center, we need to use transform property and its translate function, and we set the x and y to minus 50%. Now we have the heart exactly in the middle of our website. That was it for the CSS part of our project. In the next section, we are going to use JavaScript to firstly detect the movement of the mouse inside the browser, and we get the position of the mouse, X and Y. And also we're going to create this heart in different size and different colors when we are moving the mouse in the different area of the browser. So see you in the next section for the JavaScript part of our project. All right, in the last section, we have finished styling our project using CSS. In this section, we're going to start adding functionality to our project using JavaScript. First, we need to create a JavaScript file. So here we click and we use Ctrl+Shift+E to open the Explorer section. In the Explorer section on the left side, we right-click and we click on the new file. Here we name the file index.js and we press enter. And before using JavaScript in our project, as same as the CSS file, we must add a link to the JavaScript file within the HTML code. So we go back to index.html and just at the end of the body section, we add a script tag. We just write sc and we click on the second auto suggestion, the one with the src. The src attribute is similar to href attribute here and defines the destination of the link. And as both files are located at the same directory, we just need to write index.js for the URL. Now we can use JavaScript in our project. So we close this Explorer section and we go to index.js. First things we need to bring to JavaScript is the body element. And as the body element just is a tag with a class, with no class or with no ID, we can use query selector method to return this element inside the JavaScript. So we just write const to create a constant and we name the constant body element and we target the document and we use query selector method to return the body. And as it doesn't have any class or ID, we just need to have body here. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see the code completely on the in 2 lines. So now we can add a add event listener method to this body section and attach an event handler to detect the mouse moving inside the browser. So here we just write body element dot add event listener, and the add event listener method has the first parameter inside the add event listener method is the event that is going to trigger a function. So this event, the event we want to use is mouse move, which means when the mouse moves, we're going to trigger a function. So let's test it. We just say console log, and for example, we just say moved or mouse moved, whatever. We open the console section here. It's clicking on open DevTools pane. As you can see, we clear the console by using this icon. And when we go to the browser and move the mouse there, we can see them. We are seeing move many times because each pixel is going to be one trigger for the function. So this is working. We just need to get the X and Y position of the mouse when we are moving it. So we can get it using, we just get the event here. And if we console log event dot, for example, offset X, and we open the console, and if we move, we can see the position of the mouse in the X offset. So when we go up to the left, we see a smaller number, but in the right side, we see a bigger number. And also if we can get the Y axis as well. The upper is lower, and in the bottom, we are getting the bigger number. So we are getting the both numbers, X and Y offset. So we just save them inside a constant, and we just say X position equal to event dot offset X. We copy this and we change this to Y. And next, we want to create a span like this. So we have a span here in the body, but we are going to create exactly the same span using create element method. And we just write a constant and we just say span element. This is a new one. So we just say each time the mouse moves here, just create a span. And we just say dot create element. And the element we want to create is a span. So if we cannot see it yet because we have to append this span inside the body section, which is here. So for the body element, we append a child, and the child we want to append is this span element. So when we go now inside this, let's remove this. Inside this browser, we can see this span inside the body section. We have to open this inside a browser, and we open the DevTools using Ctrl+Shift+C. As you can see, now we're having a lot of span inside the body. As we are moving, we are creating a span inside the body. All right, but we want to position this span as well. So we go back to Visual Studio Code, and before appending, we position this span from the left and top by using this X and Y position. So we just say span dot style it, because we are styling them, because we are doing the same things inside the styled CSS. We're positioning them left and top. So we actually styling them. So we just say dot style dot left, and we want it to be left X position. And because this X position is just a number, we need to add pixels at the end. So now we can see this one in the left when we are moving our mouse there. But let's add the top position as well. We copy this and change this left to top. And instead of X, we add Y. So now we see the heart creating when we are moving. And the reason you see double heart is because we need to add something called pointer events. We change the pointer events to none, and we're going to fix this. So now we're only creating the heart exactly on the mouse position. But this is actually creating infinite number or thousands of millions of heart each time we are moving. But we want to remove this heart after a few seconds, and also we want to create an animation and bring this heart to up, and also change its color as well. So we go back to styled CSS and we add an animation inside the span. So for creating animation, we need to use the keyframe query, and we just name this animation animate. And the keyframe queries you can create different position. We just say 0%, set the transform translate X as the same as the top, minus 50% in the both sides, because 0% we want to have the same things, and the opacity to be 100% as well. It means we don't have opacity 100 means no opacity. And then we're going to copy this, and instead of 0 we have 100%, and instead of having 50% top, we just make this one a big number, for example 5,000, to bring this heart outside the browser at the top, and also change the opacity to 0 to make it invisible over time. So we add this animation here inside the span using animation property, and the animation we want to use is animate, which we have created here. And the animation duration, we choose 6 seconds and linear. As you can see, now the heart is going up, and after a while, we see too many hearts inside and it gets a little bit messy. So we can remove the heart after a few seconds. We just use a set timeout method inside the JavaScript at the end to remove the span. So we just say set timeout. The set timeout method actually sets a timer and trigger a function after the timer expires. This we can set the timer here. We just say, for example, 3 seconds, and we want to remove the span element when we, after 3 seconds, we want to remove the span element. So we create it here, but after 3 seconds, we remove it. So it's not going to be messy like that. And also we want to create different size of the heart instead of just having one heart. So it's going to be a little bit more beautiful. So for changing the size of the heart, we can create a random number here. For example, we create a constant and we just say size, and we use the math.random function to create a random number, and we use this random number to change the width and height of the span. We set the height and width to be 100 pixels at the beginning, but we can randomly change them here. So we just say span element dot style, because we want to style them, and we change the width to be this size. This random number is between 0 and 1, so it's very small. We want it to be between 0 and 100. So we can add 100 here. So it's going to be between, this size is going to be between 0 and 100. And we just say something like above, size plus pixel. So we change the width, and we can change the height as well by just copying the upper code and change the width to height. Now we are creating different size of a heart. We can get rid of the middle heart, which we have created, by removing this span. So we're just creating the heart by moving the mouse. And also another cool things we can do is to change the color of the heart by using a function called hue rotate inside the filter property. So we just need to go to install the CSS, and inside the animation, first we just set the filter hue rotate to 0. It means nothing, no change. But until it reaches to its 100%, we want to change the hue rotate to, for example, 720 degree. So now we can see that first the heart starts from the like a red color, and it changes, goes to green, and finally blue and red. We can test, as you can see, when we go to the right and the top, we can see a scroll bar. We can remove the scroll bar by using just overflow hidden inside the body section, so we're not getting it. So we can hide the scroll bar easily by just using overflow hidden. So let's see this inside our browser. As you can see, the spans are creating inside the body section, and they are removing just by using the set timeout method. It's created after 3 seconds. We don't have any span. This concept can be used for creating very cool animations, and also some like a congratulation or some things in your website that you want some beautiful things comes from the top or bottom. So I hope you enjoyed this project and learned many things. I'll see you in the next project.